and good to have you with us in this edition of the Urban Debate. We're going to put the spotlight on the vaccine policy of our country and the raging debate on the way it has been handled and it is still being handled, and what are the projections that are being given to us. Now, as even the opposition party governed states and the parties themselves raise issues and question the center over the policy, today the central government came out with an extremely long statement of what they call myths versus facts. Now, these are the facts that the government has put across, countering largely the issues that have been raised by the opposition party, especially the Aam Aadmi Party and the Delhi government. And I'm going to take you through some of those so-called myths and the government's response as facts in just a bit. But here is what we don't understand, viewers, and here is what I believe where the government really needs to become a little bit more transparent and give us detailed explanations rather than giving us statements that are not directly connected to the issues that are being raised. This is all linked to the vaccine policy. There are 5 things that are mysteries to us. We will not call them myths, but we will call them mysteries because we have many unanswered questions in relation to these angles. Point number 1 is the multiple claims by center on the capacity to manufacture vaccines. There was one claim made in February to the Parliamentary Committee. There was another claim on the manufacturing capacity of Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech made in an affidavit to the Supreme Court in the month of May. Now, one can understand if the manufacturing capacity numbers go up, but the mismatch doesn't show an increase really, which is where the doubt comes in. Not only that, and I will tell you where else it mismatches by government or government arms claims. Point number 2 is the disparity between what the government tells us is our manufacturing capacity and what we are actually vaccinating. And Mirna has actually showed you that in-depth calculation here many days ago. Whereas for the government's affidavit, if we are manufacturing or if we have the capacity to make 8.5 crore doses per month, this month we've vaccinated 5 crore doses. Why is this mismatch there? We don't know. There is no explanation. Third point, and this comes on a policy that the government is vehemently defending right now on the decision to open it up to international vaccines and giving the onus to the states on going and talking to these vaccine makers. Now that the makers have turned around and said they will not talk to the states, the question that is in our minds is that if the central government knew this, why did they change the policy? Why did they say in the month of April that the onus is now on centers to procure 50% of the quota when they knew that the procurement can only be done by the central government from the international firms? And what has been done in the past 1 month? Will the government at least admit that we've lost 1 valuable month because of this policy mix-up? Point number 4, the delay in the steps to ramp up production and placing new orders. Every day we are given one or the other projection. These many crore vaccines by June, these many by October, the 200 crore vaccine doses by December. Every day those projections change. Sometimes the companies come up with newer numbers and then the government adds to it, and then the government's ministers add even more bigger numbers to that. But nobody is explaining to us why is all of this being done now in the month of May when the whole world started working on this for their own countries last year. No explanation. And the last point that we're going to talk about is the basis for these estimates. You say over 200 crore doses to be available by December, but these are based on estimates that we don't understand, and we want the government to explain to us how are they so confident. Are there any deals? Are there any pacts? Are there any written agreements already with these companies that these doses will come through? And how can that be when many of these vaccines are still under trial? Let me give you the first example as we open it up to the debate. In the beginning, I told you about the multiple versions when it comes to our monthly capacity. In the month of March, the Centre told the Parliamentary Committee that Covishield can manufacture 7 to 10 crore doses per month, and Covaxin can 1.25 crore doses per month of Covaxin can be manufactured. This is in March. These numbers have changed, and for Covishield, they've actually come down to 6.5 crore per month of Covishield and 2 crore doses per month of Covaxin, as per Centre itself in its affidavit that was given to the Supreme Court on the 9th of May. And then 2 weeks later, Niti Aayog comes about and says Covishield is manufacturing 6.5 crore doses per month, but Covaxin is only 1 crore. So is it 1 crore or is it 2 crore? Is it 6 crore, 6.5 crore, 10 crore, 11 crore? Or should we simply just say it's 200 crore? What's there? We need answers to these questions. These are mysteries. While the government may have bust some myths put up by the opposition, these are very valid questions that we believe the government should also answer. Let's say good evening to the panelists who are joining us on this conversation. Dr. Chandrakant Leharia, Vaccine and Public Policy and Health Systems expert, co-author of Till We Win. Malini Aisola, co-convener of All India Drug Action Network. Charu Pragya of the BJP. Dr. Saeed Nasir Hussain, Member of Parliament for the Rajya Sabha of the Congress Party. Reena Gupta of the Aam Aadmi Party also joining us right now. Let me start off with Reena Gupta, because I feel, Reena, a lot of what the government has said with its facts is actually to bust the myths that your party and Delhi government have raised.
Tanvi, even today, the Bharatiya Janata Party is only busy with headline management to save the emperor's image. And what is really sad is that they have brought the level of Niti Aayog to the level of an IT troll, that today even Niti Aayog is peddling lies. So without getting too long, I'll just list 4 or 5 facts. Number one, did we place an advance order with any of the vaccine manufacturing companies? No, we did not place any advance order. The first order we placed was in January, whereas even countries like Bangladesh had placed an order with Indian companies in November of last year. Fact number 2, did we deny emergency use authorization to Sputnik and to Pfizer, citing lack of immunogenicity data or lack of third phase trials, whereas we used a different benchmark to give the same approvals to Covaxin and Covishield? Fact number 3, did the government of India invest any money in expanding the capacities of the domestic manufacturers of the 2 vaccines? We have Adar Poonawalla on record saying that he's waiting for his budget from the government of India and he's raising money from the market. Did we share the IPR of Covaxin, which we should have done with the domestic manufacturers? We did not. It's only after the Chief Minister of Delhi raised this issue and the Supreme Court forced the government that now we have said that we are sharing the IPR with 3 domestic manufacturers. Why only 3? Why not more than 3 domestic manufacturers? There are several of these issues that one can talk about. They keep saying that we have vaccinated so many people, and India is a huge country. Did we not know last year what the population of the country is? Is it today that we are realizing that India is a huge country, and even today we have not vaccinated more than 3% of the country? Mrs. Sitaraman is peddling lies, saying that no vaccine has been approved for children. I'm very sorry. America, UAE are vaccinating their children. So when the finance minister of the country, the Niti Aayog of the country is peddling lies, and every day they come out with some new number in the public domain or a new number in the Supreme Court, really, I don't know whom to trust. I mean, is any of those numbers, are any of those numbers trustworthy? And that is where the disappointment and the sadness is, that okay, you committed all these blunders, but wake up today. I mean, you knew from the beginning that these international manufacturers are not going to honor orders from the state governments. They only will honor governments, honor orders from federal governments. Still, you passed on the buck to the state governments. We asked for a decentralization for distribution. We never asked for a decentralization in procurement. For the past 70 years in the country, the procurement of vaccines has been done by the central government. Now you're trying to shift the blame to the state governments. which is, again the same issue, that even now you're not ready to wake up. Wake up now at least and get as many as
Yeah.
possible vaccine approvals. Ramp up the domestic production. But
Yeah,
now
okay.
also you're using the Niti
Well,
Aayog
none of that
to do
can
image
happen.
management for you.
Reena, ramping up the domestic production can't happen overnight. I think that's something that we all know. The ramping up of domestic production can't happen overnight. It can't even happen in 1 month or 2 months, because it's a very, very exhaustive, detailed process. The work for which should have started a long, long time ago. Nevertheless, now it has, so we don't know when that will come about. But let me ask Charu Pragya this question. Charu, would you admit that we wasted 1 month over procurement of vaccines from other brands, only to now realize that it is only the center that can talk to them? For a month, the states were running around figuring out the procedure, typing out global tenders, awaiting responses, when it turns out, and now center admits, that they have to be talking to them to help procure the vaccines.
So, Tanvi, let me start by answering some of the points that were raised by my co-panelist, Reena. And I want to just tell Reena, making vaccines is not like my mother making dal in our kitchen. I cannot call you over the phone, pass on the recipe to you, and your mother can try replicating the same dal in your own kitchen. We are talking of
That's what we knew a year ago.
The technology which is required is not as simplistic as that. Also, let me tell you for the record that your chief minister spoke about technology transfer after the government of India had already done it with 3 qualified companies. And it's very important that I use the word qualified, because making vaccines is not like making any average medicine. Also, making vaccines for COVID is a very technical subject, more technical than the other vaccines, because this has been around in the market for a very, very short period of time. So as of today, 3 Indian companies, 2 PSUs and 1 Hafkin, they're already producing the vaccines in India, and thank God for that. But when you talk of things without a base, when you talk of things without facts, when you actually only point fingers of blame towards the central government, let me remind you, one, it is the central government which is doing all the heavy lifting, as has been assured by Niti Aayog. So whether it is making sure that the companies have enough funding, whether it is still now acquiring all the vaccines that have been given to Indians free of charge, let me remind you, including to the state where your party is in power, it has all been done by Government of India, and it will be continued to be done in the same way. So as of today, everybody who's vaccinated, who's a healthcare worker, who's a frontline worker, who is above the age of 45 in India, they are all being vaccinated on the central government's money. The second thing, and we have spoken about this before, is when you talk of the numbers, let's also understand things are dependent on when the vaccine started coming into the market, when the Indian approvals happened. And I know you and your party want to keep talking about Pfizer, but Pfizer has one fact which you keep missing. Pfizer did not want to be a part of bridging testing in India. Pfizer wanted to be rid of all indemnity. It actually wanted to have no responsibility for any sort of side effects that were caused in Indians because of this vaccine. So you have to understand, you cannot play the devil's advocate permanently. Imagine the government of India gives clearance to a vaccine where the company says they have no responsibility whatsoever. What would you do? Your job actually is very easy, sitting and pointing fingers. I wish you actually put yourself in the central government shoes and understood all that is happening. Also, when you talk of acquisition...
So are you saying, Charu, that we will not let Pfizer come in now? Are you saying that we won't let Pfizer come in now because they would want indemnity?
Have to comply with all the other regulations which are in place with the other vaccine companies. I also want to put in one more thing on record here. When we are talking about the Russian vaccine Sputnik, already 6 Indian companies are a part of the manufacturing process, and taking it from there, we are going to be sufficiently producing vaccines to vaccinate every single adult Indian before the year is over.
No. Okay, so let's just take one full second here to pause. And my request to you is, please don't give me those projections unless you're able to tell me that yes, Tanvi, the agreements have been signed with each and every single one of them. For to believe any random projections, I have covered business for many, many years before I came to this network. I know exactly what the companies do when they make these projections and what is the point of it and how many times they actually meet it. I don't want the government to be giving us those projections of 200 crore, which by the way, one of our union ministers went there and made it 250 crores also. So please, Charu, let's not do that. Let's stick to facts that we have right now. And 30 more seconds to you, maybe longer if you want to take, because you still haven't answered my question. My question to you was, can we at least admit that we wasted 1 month simply because we wanted cheap thrills of states finding out that they can't procure vaccines on their own from any other brand, that it will only have to be done via the center? If the center knew this, why did they not tell this to the states 1 month ago that we will procure the vaccines for you?
So this is the time for constructively working together, and you cannot shift the goalpost and say central government controls everything, give us some control. Oh, now we have too much control, we need the central government to play daddy again and take over. This is not how it works. And as of today, the Indian manufacturers were open for other states to acquire vaccines from. The second point is, see, and I always say this to all Aam Aadmi spokespersons, they give out letters of intent and pretend it is order letters. That is fooling the public. And just because you're sitting in the convenient position of being in the opposition today, don't do that. And it's a very irresponsible thing to do. Secondly, there are facts to show that even countries like Australia have to wait until the summer of 2022 to acquire vaccines from certain international companies. So wait till production is up to the mark internationally as well. There are very limited companies which are producing vaccines. There are very limited companies.
Okay. Point taken. There will always be countries in the world who are worse in acting and proactively acting than us. I would only hope our benchmarks are countries that do it better and efficiently than us, than those who do it worse than us. Now, I've taken your point. I am going to go across to Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain. Dr. Hussain, Charu Pragya says this is, vaccine banana is not like dal ko banana, ki abhi kharida bazaar se banaya aur 5 minute mein taiyar. It's a very long, complicated process. There are certain safety measures that have to be kept in account. There are certain tests and trials that have to be done even when you set up a new facility. So why is it that, you know, the critics of the government are pretending as if overnight new facilities can now come up?
Tanvi, I think the whole world knows, and India has experienced in the past, that whenever there has been pandemics, vaccines, it was only and only through vaccination that the country were in a position to control various diseases, whether it is smallpox, malaria, cholera, tuberculosis, whatever it is. It is very clear. So the government must have been prepared. The government can't say that it is not like preparing dal or chawal. Vaccines can't be prepared. They should also understand that the whole world, especially some of the countries, have almost finished vaccinating their people. And now, when they have also, Pfizer says that they have completed the trials even for the children, for the vaccines for the children, they are starting to vaccinate the children also now. So I think we have to accept the fact that our government has been lagging behind. Our government has not been preparing and they are not visualized what things would have come in the second wave, third wave, fourth wave. We should understand that vaccination is the only solution that can control this disease. But then they again say that we have been we are given tenders to companies and they are coming and they are producing here and see, all these arguments will not work. The country needs 135 vaccination for 135 crores of people. Everyone knows that India is a country with a huge population, and we need to be prepared for that. This government has only been giving hollow slogans, Atmanirbhar, ye, wo, and all continuously, and they have been postponing things. Now, you yourself is telling, they earlier claimed that Covishield will be producing 10 to 12 crores, now it has come to 6.5 crores. Covaxin 2 crores, now it has come to 1 crore. Now, whom to believe? Should we believe the finance minister of our country? Should we believe the manufacturers? Or should we believe Adar Poonawalla, who said that he had no orders for vaccines at all. It was the failure of the government policy which did not place orders in time. That is the reason why they are delaying this manufacturing process. So now Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson, you can actually place order in less than 24 hours. It's a pandemic time. We are war against virus. You should go ahead with your plan to purchase vaccine or allowing them to come and produce here in India. You can't be saying that they are not complying to this or not complying to that. They already tested vaccine. They have been used all across the world, and their own countries, they have vaccinated their own people. So why do you want to keep playing around and then telling that now the states can go for a 50-50 thing, states can buy on their own, and what is this nonsense? The country in the past, it was the central government which purchased the vaccines. It was the central government which went for universal vaccination. It was the central government which said that we'll go door-to-door vaccine. People will survey, people will vaccine people door-to-door. This is how we are done in the past. Why are you now trying to push your responsibility to the states? And definitely the states have a right, whether it's a BJP government or a Congress government or a Aam Aadmi Party government, they have a right to say, no, it is not our responsibility. You give us the vaccine and we will vaccinate the people. You give us the vaccine, and if you don't vaccinate the people, you have a right to say that the state government is not working. Now, you can't say tomorrow if some other countries, especially whether it's Pakistan or Bangladesh, some other countries on war, you can't say. It is right what Mr. Kejriwal said. You can't say that the states can start manufacturing bombs and ammunition to fight the enemy country. This is not how it is done. You people claimed everything. There were huge hollow slogans every time when we were in war. Now and then you say that the states have to manufacture, the states have to procure, and the companies are not ready to even engage in a discussion in procuring vaccines with the states. They say we'll only talk to the center. Now what should the states do?
Here is another point. Dr. Hussain, that a lot of states didn't even know when the new policy was announced, when the decision was made that 50% of the vaccines will be procured by the center and distributed to everybody, and 50% can be procured by states or even private hospitals. Even at that time, that there is an allocation formula that has to be used, that supposedly the manufacturers are supposed to be using, was there, which only emerged and came to public after the center gave its affidavit. Now, for states like Delhi, who've placed orders and got responses from Bharat Biotech saying we can't give you these many vaccines as per center's instructions, it's obviously going to be a shock, because there isn't any clear communication or any transparency on how this allocation is even being done right now, let alone for when the center was allocating to states, even from the vaccine makers. I want to go across to two of our experts who are joining us right now. And let me go across to Malini Aisola first. Malini, one of the big claims or myths that the government has looked into is over the approvals to vaccines available globally. And the facts that the government has presented say that we've eased the entry of vaccines approved in US, UK, Japan. Vaccines don't need to undergo prior bridging trials. For well-established vaccine trials can be waived. No application of foreign makers pending for approval. Now, does this really bust the myth that center has not approved any vaccines available globally? I mean, apart from Sputnik, of course.
Hi, Tanvi. So I think I'll just answer that by looking at the case of Pfizer, because this was raised a few minutes back. Currently, the government is negotiating with Pfizer, but the issue is that this might come at a large cost. So there is, snuck into this press release today, based on the myths and facts, is an announcement that the government has modified once again the regulatory approval process and permitted for a waiver of bridging studies, which could potentially apply to Pfizer, because it says that this would apply to any well-established vaccine. Now, we know that the company is also asking for indemnity or some sort of a partial indemnity that could protect the company from lawsuits or claims for compensation from people who are potentially suffering some injury or hurt from vaccination. And this would actually be, it would be very unfortunate if this kind of an indemnity clause is agreed to, because the government itself has not put in place any mechanism for compensation, and it would clearly undermine the rights of people. But also after today's press release, I'm left with more questions than answers. Of course, the production numbers are pretty unbelievable and really amounts to trying to pull the wool over our eyes. If you just take the case of the two vaccines currently being used, Covishield and Covaxin, the total purchase orders placed to tide us over till July, in the case of Covishield, is about 266 million, and for Covaxin, it's 80 million. This clearly raises questions about exactly how much vaccine has been produced by each of these companies over the last several months, and why is there no transparency to date about the exact monthly production numbers for each of these vaccines, which have consistently been overstated. Today, the press release also says that Bharat Biotech is going to be moving from 10 million a month. Of course, this number itself is questionable, whether it was actually producing 10 million a month, to 100 million by October. And earlier this month, the government filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court, which said that it would go from 9 million a month to 20 million and thereafter 55 million till July. So the government is saying that there will be a leap from 55 million to 100 million in 3 months. I can also explain that the 3 PSUs, which together are supposed to come up to about 40 million doses by December, as per the claims of the press release, out of that, probably only Indian Immunologicals would be able to come on board right away. And this is a company that, a PSU, which is a major player in rabies, which is being now deployed for COVID vaccine. And if it could make about, it has a higher production capacity than what Bharat Biotech has at the moment. So why was this not leveraged earlier, and why wasn't this PSU or other similar companies with this kind of capacity brought on board earlier? There are also disturbing rumors that Bharat Biotech itself is dissuading private firms that have approached them to make the vaccine. And I know of at least one company that had approached ICMR sometime late last year to ask for a license to be able to make the vaccine, but was given the cold shoulder. So it appears that Bharat Biotech itself does not want any competition before it finishes its own expansion plans. We know also today from a story in the Ken that Hafkins Institute, even though this announcement was made about a month back, no MOU has been signed between Bharat and Hafkins. And, given that the government has funding in this vaccine and also shares the rights to the vaccine, how come it is permitting this company to profit here? Also, we don't know what the nature of the MOUs will be with the PSUs and whether they will be permitted to sell these vaccines themselves or whether they would have to supply to Bharat, which in turn would take its own cut and therefore continue to make as much money as it wants.
Yeah, in fact, for on Hafkin, Malini, because they had been saying it for asking for to be able to pitch in, produce, for the technology sharing to happen for a long time. And you're right, the approval actually came that for over a month ago. And then they realized, and the entire system seemed to realize that, well, they don't really know where they will manufacture it because it has to be, a certain grade of biosafety level, that facility. And if their Mumbai facility is of that grade or not, or will they have to start building from scratch? So that entire conversation has gone haywire. And if that's how the other conversations are also going to go, then I don't know how this production will be ramped up. Dr. Chandrakant Laheria, good evening to you, and thank you for patiently waiting. Dr. Laheria, I come to you at this point because much has been spoken about, ramping up facilities, production, by bringing in more players, by bringing in more manufacturing facilities and sharing, the IP with them, the technology with them, and just making more vaccines. Now, can you help us understand what entails this process and just how easy or difficult can it really be for any vaccine maker?
So the first thing is that any vaccine manufacturing process is really complex process. Even if we hand over the technology today, the manufacturer need to scale up their factories and they need to procure the various resources. And we know that number of vaccines required somewhere ranging from 300 to up to a few thousand ingredients. And those ingredients need to be sourced in. So the process is really long and complex. So even if a manufacturer transfers technology today, the plant cannot come up in 3 or 4 months. So it's a really long and complicated process. And that's the reason that all the manufacturers, no matter which part of the world, always overestimate their production capacity. We know that we heard from one manufacturer in India that they would have 100 million shots a month. Now that timeline has been shifted to July now. And that's why it's important we look at those figures which have been projected from August to December. We know that number of vaccines in that list are either in phase 1 or phase 2 clinical trials, which are really early stage clinical trial, and they might not be completed during that period. And some vaccines are in phase 3 clinical trials. So what we know, unless a clinical trial is completed, we cannot be sure about that vaccine. So that's the one reason that we should not be looking at those number 2.16 billion August to December available for India. And that is the reason we have been in the current situation we are. But I want to bring two more issues. One is that when the new policy, liberalized vaccine procurement policy, was announced in mid-April and started on 1st May, we know that the production capacity or current availability of vaccines remains the same, almost 70 to 80 million shots a month, while the target population was increased to threefold. We knew that there were 33 crore or 330 million population for 45 plus, while by opening to 18 to 44 years, additional 60 crore or 600 million population was opened, while the vaccine supply remained the same. So no matter who was procuring, whether state government and central government, because it was spread too thin, that we would have been in this situation. So this discourse that we have given independence to state, or the central government is not procuring, state government procuring, no matter who would have been procuring, we would have been in this situation. So how it should have been dealt? The answer is that vaccination programs are always combination of supply and delivery. When we don't have a supply, there is no point of saying that we will open it up. So opening up for a bigger population is a bigger major challenge. So I want to conclude with the last part, that while we are hearing a lot about how many doses would be available, but we are not hearing that how those doses, by what pipeline those will be available and how those doses will be distributed. We need to give thinking on that also. That will make success. Otherwise, no matter what dosage, like whether it's a 2.16 million or 1 billion, unless we plan or if we repeat the same mistake of waiting for those doses to become available, we will be in a similar situation. It will not benefit anybody.
So thank you for actually explaining that very well. And also I was going to ask you about the 216 crore target, since BioE subunit still doesn't have approval, Zydus Cadila still doesn't have approval, Novavax while has approval abroad, its production has already been hit because of raw material export policy that US had in between, and that got delayed. Bharat Biotech's intranasal vaccine is still under trial. Genova mRNA, we still don't know the update on it, and Sputnik is the only one actually which is now finally just about started its production here. So I completely agree with you. There is a big question mark on how we will reach to 216 crore doses, and I cannot emphasize on this enough every day, because I find many people are taking this as the big ray of hope, and we must caution them. It could happen, but we must caution them. Here is the other aspect I wanted to ask you, Dr. Laharia. Many are questioning the government today. Why didn't you strike up these agreements, place your orders earlier? Many of the international other countries had placed their order back in September, October. They placed their bets on institutes like Serum Institute, gave them money initially, got a better off deal, and got a larger order much before others did. Now today we are being told, Dr. Laharia, that it's not as if you're buying vaccines off the shelf. It's not so easy. There is a queue. We will have to wait. But was there a rationale? Could there have been a rationale in waiting to see what products come out, how they affect people before placing orders?
I think in the wisdom of hindsight, we have some answers. One is that there was a lot of attention on prioritizing the target population, but that kind of attention was not given to vaccine availability. So that we know now. The second point is, I believe that manufacturers oversold their capacity. So it seems that the country had overestimated the local production capacity of vaccines, while we had only 2 vaccine manufacturers. reliance on two vaccine manufacturers on COVID-19 vaccine for 1.38 billion population is not the right thing. It was kind of putting all the eggs in two baskets, so to say. And third part was the country apparently underestimated the vaccine demand. So all these three things put together made us land in this situation. But I want to bring another aspect, that vaccination programs are always a combination of vaccination policy, supply and delivery. The attention should have been given on all three, but only partial attention was given on policy because that was in government domain. Supply was not given that much attention, and now we have a fragmented delivery approach where states are delivering at this thing, and that's why we are in this situation. But I would also like to highlight that while there are challenges which need to be recognized, but if we want to improve in the time ahead, we need to learn all the mistakes which have been made. Possibly some of those need to be acknowledged, and let's look from the perspective that how better we can do. But unfortunately, to me, it appears that we are still focusing on some of the issues, some of the components. We are not thinking that once those vaccines are available, what will be done? The stalemate between a central and state government procuring is still on the same level, and unless that is resolved, a formula or an approach is designed, it will be chaotic till we find a solution. Vaccine availability will not solve the problem. The policies also need to be addressed or corrected or rectified. The delivery need to be strengthened. So we need to learn. We do not seem to learn from the ongoing mistakes or mistakes of the last few months and ongoing challenges.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Let's also say good evening to Divya Rajgopal, who's joining us right now. Divya, a government coming out with a bunch of the myths, which were largely the points that the opposition party raised, and responding to that with their own bunch of facts. Now, the government actually has also given us a lot of more statistics, Divya, but is it really matching the way you have also tracked it? If to me it seems the center gives one number estimate to the Supreme Court in an affidavit, the Niti Aayog comes and gives us another estimate, the companies seem to be updating their projections regularly, and they're not even moving in one direction, they keep going up and down. So is there any clarity on how much are we making right now, and basis what are we saying it will multiply 10 times in a few months?
Well, Tanvi, there is the myths and the facts which the Niti Aayog has shared is like, they are answering their own questions which they want to answer, and they are left out several gaps which actually need their response. I mean, one of the things which they have raised is completely false, saying that no vaccination for children has taken place anywhere in the world. It's untrue. US and Canada have started vaccination for those above the age of 12, and those above the age of 12 are considered children. So that vaccination has started, which the Niti Aayog says is a myth, and that's completely, I mean, if you ask me, that's completely misleading statement which they are making. That's point number one. But the back of the envelope calculation that we will suddenly have a lot of demand is all on the assumption that the vaccination which are under development will somehow clear the clinical trial. I mean, this is something which is kind of also very troubling, that all these vaccine companies, Biological E, Genova and Zydus Cadila, they're all still in phase 3. We don't know the efficacy data. We don't know their safety data yet, because none of these companies have come out and revealed that. A usual practice is that you release interim data, and some of the countries, I mean, companies such as Pfizer and Moderna and AstraZeneca in the past have actually gone ahead and published interim data in scientific journal. None of these companies have done that, and our calculation is based on the fact and assumption that all these vaccines somehow magically will pass the clinical trial. So we are making that assumption even before the trial has been passed. So it's like saying, then why are we doing trial? If we are so confident that these vaccines will be available, then why are we even doing trial? I mean, this is a very scientific question that we should be asking. The whole, for now, we have to assume that the vaccine doses that we have will come from these three companies who have got their approval, which is Sputnik, Serum, AstraZeneca, and Bharat Biotech. This is the assumption, and I think we should not mislead people saying that there are these big doses of vaccines that will come up all of a sudden magically, because we don't know. They are still in clinical trial. So I think it's very important to say that Right now, if we know any vaccines that are available, it is from these three companies. And if you look at the daily vaccination number and the projection which the companies have given, that matches. So let's also sort of, of course, there are so many numbers that's floating around everywhere. What we know right now is the number of vaccination that is happening in India matches with the projection that the companies have given. For example, Serum and Bharat Biotech have given in the last few months. So that number does add up. However, again, for Sputnik vaccine, it's still an imported vaccine, and we know again that Dr. Reddy's has given a certain projection. RDIF have given a certain projection that they have said by the end of May they will be supplying 50 million doses. But that doses has not arrived yet, because of course all these things, vaccines are much more critical product than a normal drug is, because there are storage issues, there are issues of cold chain, especially with Sputnik V. It still does require minus 18 degrees. So we need to be very clear about the projection that's coming in. Right now, the projection is that we just have these three companies who are approved and who are agreed to supply.
Yes. Okay, so here we've heard now three of the experts who are on the panel tonight, one from the Drug Action Network, one a journalist, and one a vaccine and public policy expert. And all of them right now, Charu, are cautioning us against this number that you were so keenly quoting and the government repeatedly seemed to be giving us. But is it not a case of giving false hope to people? Every day when I have conversations, including those running big businesses, they seem to be banking on the fact that vaccine and more vaccines, and by end of this year, all our COVID troubles will be gone.
Tanvi, while I appreciate the caution which is coming from my co-panelists, I must also emphasize on the fact that Government of India is working round the clock to ensure that we have sufficient vaccines for Indian. And anyone who believes otherwise really needs to do a rethink. And while we are talking about ramping up vaccine production, I have one more very important issue to raise with you, and that is vaccine wastage. And in the last couple of days, we have seen some appalling figures of vaccine wastage. For example, I'll take the state of Chhattisgarh. More than 37% of vaccine which has gone to the state of Chhattisgarh has been wasted. How is that even being allowed? Not just Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, all these states, they've got massive vaccine wastage. So while I have a chance to be on air with you on your channel, I want to make this appeal that of course Government of India is working round the clock to ensure foreign vaccines will come in. Indian production is going to be ramped up, and nobody is throwing unrealistic figures or raising hopes. Everybody is working to ensure Indians are secure, Indians are safe, and Indians are looked after. But while the government is doing that, the state governments have to plug all vaccine wastage or ensure their data entry is correctly done, so that we're not losing precious doses. Sitting here and arguing about every single dose that we have in this country, and while we have so many of them going to waste.
Okay, so Reena, I know you want to make a point, but since an allegation of wastage has been made here, I'll ask Dr. Hussain to respond to that, and then I'll go to Reena Gupta. Yes.
Tanvi, I think it is very clear. Now the blame game has started. The fact remains that the central government has not worked in the right direction. They are not ensured that the country gets vaccinated. They are not ensured that we get enough vaccination. Now there is no point in shifting the blame either to the states, shifting the responsibility either to the states, and then start targeting the states where the opposition parties are ruling. I think according to COVIN, the wastage in Chhattisgarh is 0.95%. According to COVIN, these are not my figures, these are not Chhattisgarh government figures. These figures are of COVIN, 0.95% wastage in Chhattisgarh. So let me not get into this blame game. My only concern is that the country needs to be vaccinated. For this, we need to have enough vaccines for 135 crore Indian people. For that, you need to place orders. Even if they start placing the orders now, maybe in the next 6 months or 7 months, when we actually receive the vaccines, we may start vaccinating a large number of people. Even the children in different countries have been started, as one of my co-panelists said, have been started vaccinating. So I think we should start working in those directions instead of the finance minister or the BJP spokesperson blaming the state governments, blaming the opposition. And let me tell the BJP spokesperson that when we were in power, BJP as an opposition party used to criticize, used to find flaws in the policies. In a similar way, whether it is Congress today or some other party tomorrow, has the right to find out the flaws in the public policy, find out whether the central government or the party that is there in power, whether they are working in the right direction or they are working enough or not. We have a right to say, we will be saying that, we will be cautioning you, we will be highlighting your discrepancies, we will be suggesting, we will be advising. It is up to you to take our suggestions or not. But we want our country to get vaccinated. Only then we can control this pandemic.
So the opposition will continue to do the work of the opposition, which is to raise issues, highlight issues, and question the government, irrespective of whether BJP remembers how it is to be in opposition or not. Okay. Reena Gupta, you wanted to make a point earlier before I go to my experts.
So, Tanvi, again, the issue of ICMR and Bharat Biotech partnership, the terms of that partnership are not in public domain. And I've spoken to several experts, and everybody has told me that our best bet is actually using the technology and getting more and more domestic players under compulsory licensing to share the technology with domestic players, whether it's PSUs, whether it's private players, to ramp up production domestically in the country, because Bharat Biotech is using a technology which is a very traditional technology, and several domestic players and PSUs actually have the capability. So one is really not sure that why the central government is not allowing more than 3. I mean, even now after so much pressure, they've only allowed 3, and even those MOUs have not been signed. So while in the international world, while with WTO, we are saying that allow us, relaxation of IPR, and in our own country, we are not allowing relaxation of IPR. So this is such a confused policy that we are following. So can we at least get that straight and make sure that all the domestic manufacturers, whether they are private, whether they are public, whoever has the capability of using this technology is actually invited to the table and offered an incentive to start manufacturing this vaccine, which is approved and is being produced in the country and has been made using taxpayers' money.
So, like you said, we don't really know what the terms of agreement there are. ICMR, of course, did partner with Bharat Biotech when the trials were being carried out. But can we really give it out to more, production facilities to step it up? Is something, yes, the center may need to look at beyond the PSUs. Divya, do you want to come in on this aspect? Beyond the 2 or 3 agreements that they have already announced, is there a possibility for more? For example, Tamil Nadu has now raised the issue of the facility that was set up years ago that everybody forgot about, and now whether that can be used to manufacture more vaccines.
Right. Tanvi, I think somebody else was also raising this issue that vaccine manufacturing, even if we give technology, it's not going to happen overnight. However, that should definitely happen. Again, Bharat Biotech technology is something that is known, it has been used widely. What is lacking is infrastructure that's required to manufacture these vaccines. For example, you need a BSL-3 facility, which is like a high-grade bio labs to manufacture these vaccines. So we need to sort of have those facilities put in place, and it's still not too late, because we are talking about vaccination perhaps becoming a norm. Almost every year we might need a COVID vaccine that might come in. So let's kind of start investing. These suggestions are great. I think giving out licenses, having more companies come and manufacture, but it's not going to solve the problem overnight, or not even for the next 6 months. Whatever capacity that we would create right now overnight will be for the future, which would be perhaps a year from now, where we'll see that there will be several companies who will be manufacturing vaccines, because we will perhaps come to a stage where we'll need vaccine every year. We will also need vaccines for children. I mean, we are not sort of, we are forgetting that there is this genuine drive that's happening, that children might also need to get vaccinated at some point of time, and that's a consideration which the Indian government should be looking at. I also want to make a very important point on the supply side issue, Tanvi, is that we are still talking about negotiations and everything, but we are not telling our people that, okay, at what price we are ready to purchase the vaccine, because right now we are definitely not in the buyer's seat. We are in a situation where the suppliers have an upper hand, and there are negotiations where pricing matters on how much we are ready to pay as a country, because if we are not ready to pay a certain price, the companies will walk out and give the orders somewhere else, and this has already started happening. European Union has made pre-purchase agreement till 2023 with Pfizer and Moderna. Similarly, you see Canada that has already placed order till 2024. You have Japan that's saying that we want to place order for next 2 years. So we're talking about countries placing orders for the next 2-3 years, and we are still not figuring out what we're going to do this year. I think the government should realize that this is not a problem of next 6 months. This is going to be a problem for the next foreseeable future, for the next few years, and any decision which they are making should be looked at from that long-term perspective. This is not about finishing off vaccination in next 3 months or 6 months. This is a long-term issue, and they need to be very careful when they say that we are talking to people. They need to be careful that there are already countries who are rushing ahead and placing orders, and we will again be in queue if we do not act fast and get the negotiation going in terms of pricing, supplies, and all those things. So this is not a 6-month issue. This is going to be a 2-3 years.
Yes, you're right, Divya. Correct, and very important that you raised that, which is why in the beginning also I made this point about us having now wasted not just the last 6 months, where we only placed for a few dozen crores of vaccine orders with Covishield and Serum and Bharat Biotech, but even now the last 1 month that we wasted, where we probably just wanted to teach the states a lesson that you are all jumping up and down demanding, give us more vaccines, open it up to everybody. So let's just give you the responsibility. And now a month later, everybody has learned the lesson that there are no vaccines. They now know it, having gone through it. There is no easy way out of you yourself going and getting it from international companies. You have to route it to us. We have to talk. I don't know if that was the intent. I can't find any other logical explanation for the government deciding that now suddenly the onus to bring in vaccines is half for the states as well and not just us. That has just completely further derailed this entire vaccination drive. Now we need to get going. We are already far behind in shoring up our orders for the future as well. Not only are we struggling with vaccine shortage today, but by simply presenting a rainbow picture of 216 crore doses by the end of the year, we are fooling the nation and ourselves. Unless the government can tell us that these orders are in place. For that, they will first have to tell us that these trials have finished and the vaccines have been approved, or maybe they have pre-ordered, which is also fine. But are those orders in place? We are not sure. Here is another reason why I don't believe that number. Why I have a problem believing we'll have 200 crore doses or 250 crore doses, as Mr. Kishan Reddy says, is because even if you look at the math that we have for Covishield right now, at a manufacturing capacity current of 6.5 crore doses per month, even with a projected capacity of 11 crore doses per month, at this rate, by December, they will still probably be able to manufacture somewhere around 59 crore to 60 crore doses. That's still a shortfall of 11 crore from what the government has estimated. Even if you look at Covaxin, at the current capacity of 1 crore, and I'm not even going by what the center has said in the Supreme Court affidavit of 2 crore, current capacity 1 crore, hoping to ramp it up to 10 crore doses per month at some point. Even at that pace, we are missing the target by 21 crores by end of this year. Sputnik V, capacity ramped up to 1.2 crore doses a month. By the end of the year, we are counting in 7.5 crore. We don't really know how that's going to happen and if it will hit the markets. The government needs to stop selling us dreams. needs to seriously start answering our questions, give us some hard facts and concrete plans for shoring up vaccines for a country with a population of over 1 billion. That's what is required. Thank you so much for joining us.